The Manitoba Securities Commission is putting out a warning after a local senior lost their life savings in a crypto scam. The senior lost $2 million in a scam known as a Fargo investor scheme. Joining us now with tips on how to spot investment fraud is Tyler Ritchie from the Manitoba Securities Commission. Good morning, Tyler.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, you first heard from the senior, a Manitoba man. He called you because he was concerned that maybe his sort of dealings, his investments were not legit, right? How did this all start?
That's correct, yeah. So this individual had gotten involved with a company called Fargo Investor, which he thought was a legitimate company providing investment services where he could invest in crypto and other investments. It turns out, unfortunately, that it was an investment scheme where his money was just taken, converted into crypto, and moved overseas, and his money was taken from him.
But it didn't happen that quickly. It happened over a long period of time where he was actually seeing a return on some of what looked like a return on some of his investment, right?
Exactly, yeah. So it was over time, and his money was appearing to grow in the account. It seemed like he was making quite a bit of money. Things were going well. The scammers were building trust with him, and so he believed everything was okay. So that trust was built over time.
And he was speaking with them. They sounded like they knew what they were talking about. It felt legitimate to him.
Yeah, he said that they were very knowledgeable, very friendly. They were answering questions. There was nothing to him that seemed overly suspicious. He had confidence in what he was invested in, and we see that with scammers these days, is that they're very talented at getting people to part with their money. They have tested scripts that they use that have proven to work. So this is a common thing that we're seeing, unfortunately.
How did he first get wind of this company? How did they find him?
So this company was online. Typically with these sorts of investment scams, we see social media ads where celebrities or famous people are used to promote the scam. And from there, that attracts interest for the individual. They click on the link, provide their information, their phone number, and they'll get a phone call from a boiler room overseas. And that's where the salespeople will put high-pressure sales tactics on a potential investor to get them to hand over their money.
Okay, so then what triggered him? What made him realize this might not be a real deal?
He talked to a couple of trusted individuals who said to him, you know what, you better contact the Securities Commission because we have some concerns with this. So that's what he did. Okay,
so for anybody watching this right now who you think there's other people who've been caught in the same scheme, if they're watching and they think potentially they also have been caught, what would you tell them? What are signs of trouble?
Yeah, so I think the first thing that I would suggest is checking for registration. So anybody who is offering investments in Manitoba needs to be registered with the Manitoba Securities Commission. So you can do that by checking, are they registered.ca? Type in the company name or the individual name and see if they're registered. That's a good first step.
Okay.
There's other things that you can look for, common red flags of these types of investment scams. For example, commonly the scam will be asking you to invest just a small amount of money at first. Could be about $250 or $300, and the scammers will tell you it's just a small amount, it's a low risk thing, and watch your investments grow. And so the investor will then be shown fake profits. It appears that everything's going well, that they're making good money, and that trust will be built in that way, and the investor unfortunately will then hand over more money. Other things to look out for, if somebody you don't know, you've never met before in person, is asking for remote access to your computer, that's a big red flag. They might be telling you that they need remote access to set up your account. And that's really a big risk because they're going to have control of your computer. You don't know what they're going to install on your computer or what they'll do. So another thing to look out for.
So before you give any money, check their name, see if they're legitimate, and then maybe don't allow them to get access to your computer, as well as ask questions, right?
Yes, and I think one more thing I'd like to add on that is even after these frauds are over, the same scammers will try to attempt and get more money from the victim. pretending to be a regulator or an insurance company or a law firm, offering a service of being able to get their money back for a fee. Oftentimes, most of the time, that's a scam as well. So something to watch out for.